911, what is your emergency?
Oh, God. Hello? Sir? It's my toilet. Elvis has died on it.
My name is Michael Dorst. In 1977, I got a phone call from Elvis. He said, "Hello, this is Fat Elvis. I'd like to hire you to assemble an elite task force to prevent me from dying on the toilet, which is the worst way to die according to the Bible. So what do you say?" The next day, I moved into Graceland.
One of the main obstacles we faced was that Elvis's house had over 100 toilets.
Elvis told us it was smart to have lots of toilets around because it was illegal for the police to arrest you if you were sitting on a toilet.
You have to understand, this wasn't young Elvis, whose favorite hobbies were not being Fat Elvis and having just one toilet. This was later Elvis, whose favorite hobbies were being Fat Elvis and always having hundreds of toilets. And he was paranoid and difficult to manage.
We wanted to minimize the amount of contact Elvis had with the toilets, so we came up with a solution to have someone else shit for Elvis.
Well, we essentially connected this guy to Elvis with a tube, and his job was to shit out whatever Elvis ate.
That guy went everywhere with Elvis. Eventually, he started to get a bit of a following.
He was signing autographs, and then he wrote a best-selling memoir.
Well, that made Elvis incredibly jealous, and he refused to let anyone shit for him after that. So we had to change our strategy.
I don't want to disrespect Mike, but his approach to the mission was, in my opinion, too rigid and failed to account for all the dangerous thrusting Elvis was doing around the toilets.
Over the years, Elvis's signature hip thrusting had fallen out of fashion, so he wanted to find a new body part to sexually thrust, and unfortunately, he chose his eyeballs.
Now, Elvis would stand there, say, "Ooh, mama, I'm going to jail for kissing a hound dog," and then thrust his eyeballs out of his head and onto the floor.
Elvis was trying to recapture his youth. It was just sad, and also incredibly dangerous. You'd often slip out his eyeballs and fall headfirst into one of his many toilets.
I had my guys fishing Elvis out of toilets around the clock, and we actually had the situation relatively under control. And then the impersonators showed up.
Elvis returned from Las Vegas one time, having befriended a bunch of Elvis impersonators because they were the only people he could relate to at that point. And they would just be hanging around Graceland all the goddamn time, impersonating everything Elvis did.
If Elvis got a glass of water, the impersonators got a glass of water. If Elvis slipped on his eyeballs and fell in the toilet, the impersonators slipped on their eyeballs and fell in the toilet.
It was chaos.
Well, the impersonators made it very hard to keep track of which Elvis was the Elvis we were supposed to be keeping from dying on the toilet.
911, what is your emergency?
One day, I come around the corner and I see Elvis drowning headfirst in a toilet. So I initiate CPR.
I get there and Jim's doing chest compressions and screaming, "Don't you die on the toilet on me, Elvis."
All of a sudden, he starts breathing and he says, "Thank you very much. I'm not Elvis."
Meanwhile, the real Elvis had heard someone was dying in his house and figured the police might be coming to arrest him. So he started looking for a toilet to sit on, but all his toilets were being used by Elvis impersonators, impersonating the fake Elvis dying on the toilet.
So Elvis broke into his neighbor's house and sat on his toilet. And I guess he got hungry and decided to eat that Snickers bar.
Everyone knows not to eat Snickers on the toilet. It says so right on the packaging.
By the time we found him, it was too late.
Take my hand.
It was a tragedy.
We had a mission and we failed.
I will never forgive myself for letting Elvis die on the toilet.
For I